Hi, my name's Chloe. I work for OpenFifth as a software developer. And today, for our What's on Our Minds video, I wanted to take you through how to set up the GrapesJS module in Aspen Discovery. It is absolutely lovely in that it allows you to create pages from scratch for your library site, and therefore, I thought it might be useful to actually look at how to enable that module, and maybe how to start using it as well a little bit. I'm definitely thinking of going back to this later on, maybe making more videos as we go to sort of explore what you can do with GrapeJS. So without further ado, looking at the Aspen Discovery administration page, the first thing you might notice is that if you try to look for it, it isn't there yet. In fact, if you try to look for the ability to build web pages, so web builder, that isn't really there either. So the first thing we're going to need to do is in system administration, we're going to want to go and look at our modules. Now, as I said, GrapeJS is there to allow you to build those pages. It is therefore part of the web builders module, which is why the first thing you actually do need to do in your module is to go to web builder and hit enable. There we go. We'll save that, check that it's saved properly, and return to our list. So there we go. That is the web builder module enabled. One good way to check is to simply look down the administration menu on your left-hand side, and you'll see that now you have a web builder section. However, if you look inside that section, you'll see you don't have access to Grapes yet. That is because we need to enable that separately. So we are going to go into our system administration over here, and we are going to look at our system variables. All right, open that. And if we search for grapes, we'll notice we have an enable grapes editor setting. Hit that, save that. And now let's use the search. If we use the search up here, at the grapes, there we go. I've got grape pages, I've got grapes templates. I can now use the grapes integration with Aspen. Right, so just before we move on to actually looking at the GrapeJS integration and Aspen itself, I just want to show you very quickly where the permissions are. Because as you might know, in Aspen, a lot of the things you can and cannot do as an administrator will depend on what role you are assigned within Aspen and what permissions are tied to this role. So if you have a look at this, there we go, system administration permissions. And then I am here as OPEC admin. So this is the role I will select, and I can check. So if I look for grape, I can see that I have the administer all grape pages permission. That means that I do not have administer library grape pages. Now, this doesn't block me from editing pages for specific libraries. What it does is, because I already have permission to edit grape pages for any library on the system at all, I really don't need this one. So it's not that I can't make changes to my home library, it's just that I have the super permission, and therefore this is not relevant to me. This is not relevant to my role, but some users might find that they don't have permission to edit anything and everything. However, they might just be allowed to make edits on their specific home library. So in this case, we can stay up here, save changes. Not that we've truly made any, but anyways. Right, now we have permissions, we have the module setup, we have GrapeJS as an integration enabled. We have seen that in our system administration system variables. So if I click on the builder, there we are. So not only do I still have access to the basic web builder pages, but now I also have access to the Grape ones. And the first thing we want to do is to look at making a template. Templates are great because once you have them, you can reuse them. If you want to make multiple pages and you want them to look consistent, you can reuse that structure that you've created. It's one of the features that we quite like about GrapesJS. So let's call it test. I'm aware it's not the most imaginative name I could have thought of, but bear with me. And for now, we are just going to save it. Right. So now we can see this template exists. It's currently very empty. I've not added anything to it. But if we look at the pages, if we were to add a new one, it appears as an option. So Aspen has registered that I have templates now. They do exist. And whenever I want to create a page, instead of starting from nothing, no structure, I will have the opportunity to instead select that template specifically, which if I make myself some very nice, structured, useful templates will be beneficial. So let's go and do that. And what we'll want to do is open it in the GrapesJS editor. All right, so let me zoom out a little bit more just so we can see what it looks like in general. There. So this editor effectively shows you the page in the middle, and then on the right-hand side, you have the elements that you can add onto your page or templates. And then at the top, you will have the different actions you can take, such as undoing your changes or redoing your changes you've undone, changing the sort of viewport you want to be looking at, and so on and so forth. So if we zoom back in, I'm just going to start very simply. I'm just going to add a two-column structure. So I'm going to take it, grab it, drop it. And you can see that now I have these two cells. Inside that column, I can add some text. I can add it in my other column if I want to. So just drop some text in there, write whatever I want, repeat myself a few times, and you can see already that it is following this two-column structure I created. So get your two columns, drop them in, and then inside the two columns, what do we want? I just wanted some text, so I just dropped text. I could drop an image if it's what I want to. I could even drop, say, an actual YouTube video if I wanted to, and shape it. So the drag and drop feature makes it very intuitive. Go onto your menu where you can grab any sort of content from and just grab it, dump it, done. Nice and easy.